right, and let's talk about politicians commenting on these matters from the podium. It would seem, Honorable Kaluma, that ODM wants us to go back to the streets. Let's listen to what Honorable Junet Mohammed had to say at a rally just this weekend.
Mambo ya IEBC. Nimesikia ya kwamba commissioners wamekataa kutoka kwa ofisi kwa sababu ya procurement. Wanataka wafanye procurement yote wakule hiyo pesa ndio watoke. Tarehe 10 tumetangaza maandamano ya IEBC.
So on the 10th, back to the streets?
Yvonne, Moses has said there was an agreement in the recommendations. And I can tell the country, it is a very voluminous, kind of documentation. Indeed, it was agreed that these commissioners were leaving by end of September. So what Junet Mohammed and of course members of the CORD coalition were reacting to was the idea that it appeared to be the case that Issa Kassan and fellow commissioners were mortgaging this public service office. They are doing nothing, they know they should not be leaving. But they are saying they are not leaving until they are paid.
But the process wasn't really up to them to decide, was it?
I can tell you...
Wasn't there supposed to be a committee which we then saw put together that would then say these are your terms of exit? Or did you want them to exit?
That.
Without
public service is a contractual employment arrangement.
Right.
And I can tell you, Yvonne, there is a gentleman who served Kenyans very well called Professor P.L. Lumumba. When Parliament sent him home, he went home. And I can tell you today, Yvonne, nobody has bothered to ask whether Professor Lumumba has been paid a coin. And by the way, he has not been paid. He was my partner, I know. What we were against is the idea that, commissioners are holding a public office as a tool to blackmail, the public into paying them whatever they want. And we were saying, really...
But this was an agreement that was made...
No, it was not an agreement. It was not in law. It was not in law.
Well, but the Joint Parliamentary Select Committee, one, found not enough evidence to say that they were at fault, and then agreed that there would be an honorable exit for the commissioners.
If an honorable exit does not mean you don't leave that office until you paid what you want. What I'm against is the idea that we sit down and you say we want immunity, we want to be paid this amount of money. In any event, remember this was an employment contract. Even if by now, and this I dare say, even if by now we decided we were not paying them, they have the law courts to go and enforce their contractual arrangements based on the method of termination.
So we're going back to the streets?
What we were against is the idea that these gentlemen sit, and I don't know who is pampering them, that they can negotiate. This is an office of public service, but they are not serving anybody. If you're in the situation of those commissioners, would you do anything related to elections? So you've held that office hostage. You're telling us until you pay according to our terms. That's why we're saying, this is a lot of nonsense. You people get out. You can enforce your terms elsewhere.
Okay.
And it is not for us as opposition. Remember, we passed a law. And Yvonne, let me tell the country that amongst the amendments we rejected on that date, when we were passing this bill, was a proposal that we have in law provision, bringing something called dignified exit. And we said, what is that? Let them go and enforce their things outside there.
All right, let's hear from...
Yeah, so really, that is what we were reacting to. But let me say, Yvonne, we are very happy. We are very happy they are saying they are going. And we were going to say that
but
if they were not going to, they have to go.
No, they are going. I think it's not they have to. I think that agreement is in place. But Junet is saying that they should not wait for the handover, and that on the 10th there will be protests and going back to the streets.
What are they handing over? Matters to be dealt with at IEBC.
All right, so are we going back to the streets? Is that what ODM is saying?
If they don't leave, of course we will go and pull them. I mean, there is no problem. We are not joking about these elections.
All right, let's hear from...
Yeah, they're going to drag them out and have 4 other people killed, like the one they had killed for us to get to the point we have.
No.
For them, they dance at the graves of their supporters. These guys are so dishonest. So going back to the city, what did you achieve? Do you know in the last commission, in the other commission that is going out, even Orengo admitted in his own letter to his own party that out of the 8 or 9 commissioners, ODM had 6. Now, what have they gained from all these demonstrations? These guys are so clueless. They just go to the streets, have people killed, they achieved nothing. Now commissioners, the president will get 11 names, he will appoint 7. What have you achieved? These people, at the end of the day, they're going to have their package. What have you achieved? These rates of demonstration and all that, that's fine. But tell me, at the end of the day, what do you achieve? Show me one thing you got from these demonstrations. You lost everything.
Yvonne, I'm very happy Korea is bringing this issue. For us as people whose elections were rigged in 2007, and as people whose elections were rigged in 2013, we were very clear about what we need to seal the loophole. The Jubilee side was focused on how they get commissioners. And with our experiences as CORD, we had said we don't want to put trust in human beings. So Moses Kuria, remember...
But yet that is what's going to happen, because the president will be given a number of names from which he will choose 7.
We don't care who the commissioners are. We want the laws we've put in place, and we want the integrated electoral electronic system put in place. Once it is put in place, Kuria, I want to tell you, you cannot rig again. And you are going home. Let me be clear about
I'm going
this.
home after this show. But anyway, coming back to the point.
No, you are going home after next
after
elections.
this show, I'm going home. I don't know about
Yes.
that. Now, you know, this what my friend Amenasi calls the screensaver of being rigged out. The other time we were rigged out, this time we were rigged out. But I think you should be rigged out at that time. You know, like in football, if you win a trophy 3 times, you keep it.
This time you can't rig. That is what I'm telling you.
The copy of the trophy of being rigged, you can keep it forever. The trophy of losers, you can keep it forever. But anyway, I think you know, seeing that it's Junette there, you know, who is speaking about going back to the streets, it's painful because Junette and I spent hours.
Yes.
And we knew even what we are recommending, that the timelines are squeezed. So I think what we need to do is to have some sense of responsibility. And say, this is our baby, all of us. And we do what we can do to be able to fasten the process. But every time looking for someone to blame, it's not going to help it. It just continues to prove how ODM and CORD are not ready to govern. In any case, we know why they were doing that. You know that house is crumbling. You know the CORD house is crumbling. So by them saying that you are going back to the streets, perhaps it keeps Karonzo, you know, into the house for 5 more days instead of, you know,
you know, Yvonne,
it keeps Soeta in the
Yvonne,
house. So it's just, you know, every time there's a crisis, the
Yvonne,
biggest winner is
So you
always
don't see-
Raila Amolo Odinga.
So
You
you
don't
don't
have
see a
a
crisis.
We
There's
are
no crisis.
digressing.
All we need is goodwill,
Yeah.
sit down together,
Yeah.
even as parliament, because this process was run back to us. And actually, we are going to midwife a very good process.
Okay. He says he
Yvonne,
doesn't see a crisis. Do you
You know, I
agree?
regret we are regressing. Because, you know, Moses Kuria is not telling the country why the president had to add a document in Europe for a whole 14 days on his table before signing it. And what you are saying is that this has delayed time. All over the world, any ruling government which is confident of winning even calls snap elections. What this show is about is why is the Jubilee side delaying? When commissioners are to leave, they want to pretend to be negotiating with them for eternity there.
Okay.